Alright, this is a warning. This podcast you're about to listen to is going to contain spoilers, misinformation, bad ideas, useless topics, and a lot of laughing. Just to let you know, this is all performed by professional idiots that most of the time don't know what they're talking about and take everything said with a grain of salt. Now sit back, relax, try not to cringe, and enjoy.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode and hopefully get some mild enjoyment. This week we're going to be talking about Pokemon the movie, The Rise of Darkrai. We're going to be talking about that. And we're I don't remember what I was going to say. Anyway, but first, before we get into all the details, I'm Josh, your host.
Jared! Jared!
And this is Hazard Animations. Okay, welcome back. And why do you have to keep doing these voices and now singing?
I was the Pokemon, the Jared. He's a evolved form of Jar. And
Jared's the evolved form of Jar.
Yeah,
it's not Jar Jar Binks, is it?
Well, Jar Jar Binks is my final form, but haven't reached there yet.
Got it. Please do never reach there. Dude, we're not talking about Star Wars today, though.
Misa, so sad. No Evolvo.
No. So yeah, we watched the Pokemon movie, The Rise of Darkrai. So what were your thoughts, Jared, when you saw it?
First thoughts. So I watched it twice, actually. Once I watched it with my two kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Right.
And my 5-year-old actually really liked it. And it kind of got him into Pokemon movies.
Really?
Yeah. So afterwards,
I guess I'm doing more Pokemon movies then.
It was great because we watched Pokemon movie 3. The Entei one afterwards, and he was super into him. He liked both these movies a lot.
Now I got to do a podcast on that one.
Yeah, it's a good movie too.
Man, you guys are getting prime content here.
Yeah, we are. So it was fun. The first time I watched it was kind of with them, and so I wasn't paying like as technical close of attention because I'm there with them and trying to enjoy it with them and stuff like that. But my second time kind of through. Also, the first time, the 3-year-old is talking to me through most of the movie, and so it's a little hard to pay attention to really
details.
Any of what's going on. So I was very lost by halfway through the movie because I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? Why did time and space just warp? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
So my first thought in watching this, and if you've listened to some of the past episodes, you know, like I took a big break from Pokemon games and movies for a while. So my first thought was like, why Darkrai? What is this guy? Is this another legendary that I haven't seen? Is he just another like I knew nothing about Darkrai.
Right.
And like a lot of these Pokemon movies, in those first couple, I feel like there's very clearly like some specific legendary ones that are like that. This is the key Pokemon that's the main focus.
Right. And Darkrai is not legendary. It's a mythical.
Okay.
So yeah, you have
So maybe you can explain that difference to me because I don't understand why they're different.
So I'm not the best at explaining it.
Okay.
So like Arceus, Mew, Dialga, Palkia, Kyogre, and the birds, Lugia, those are legendary.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have mythical, which is kind of like the tier underneath legendary. So mythical would be Darkrai, Jirachi, Deoxys.
Okay.
That would be, even though like Rayquaza and Deoxys is actually a mythical. Melody something from a newer Pokemon movie. That one's mythical. So there's kind of like Shaman. That's a mythical.
Okay. So they're like special and rare, but they're
special,
not as
but
powerful.
they're not legendary.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny with like Dialga and Palkia in the movie. They're deities.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing that was something.
That was definitely something I noticed, and I was like, "Well, that's okay, cool. These guys are a big deal." But so that was my first thought was like, "Who's Darkrai? What's the significance here?" Because I didn't know anything about him, so I was like, "Oh, this is an oddity that like, why is it all about Darkrai?" Which becomes clear as you watch the movie. But those are like my first thoughts. I thought of some cool opening battles,
Oh, yeah.
like in those opening sequences where they've got kind of the music going super loud and they're kind of setting up like the scene of getting into the town. And there were some cool, some really clean animations in those kind of opening battles, which are kind of like certainly not the focus of the movie, but I was like, oh, these battles they're nice.
Yeah.
Like they're super cool. So those were like my first thoughts. I have a lot more thoughts. I took notes. I got a bunch of notes.
So I don't. I usually do the top of my head. So kind of this one thing I find funny in the very first of the movie is when they meet. What's the girl's name?
This is where like I'm so bad with
It's Alice. That's
Alice. Okay, yeah.
Alice. And again, Brock is always like head over heels, and then all you see is. He says something and Krogan just comes out and poison jabs him.
Yes.
What'd you think of that?
I thought that was so deserved. And I was, in that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm just super disappointed in the character because like he started off, he had this great persona, this really cool, serious, kind of intimidating guy, gym leader. But lots of room for like character development in terms of like he had cool Pokemon that I were some of my early favorites and Onyx and Geodude. But the main thing that like he had a lofty dream to kind of rival Ash's, like I want to be the ultimate Pokemon master or whatever.
Yeah.
Brock wanted to be like the ultimate Pokemon breeder, which, you know, obviously they can't make a huge big deal at like they're not going to breed a bunch of Pokemon on the show.
That's
but
true.
Like in caring for Pokemon and, you know, I thought that there were lots of things that they could do to develop him along those lines.
Yeah.
And I understand like the joke of like Brock gets head over heels over any girl he sees who's not the girl who always travels with them. Like I understood the joke at first and it was funny when I was like a kid or like the first time I saw it, but like it's so overplayed now. Like,
It is. There's a few. It goes the Diamond Pearl. It happens in it. It happened in the series before, I believe, too, where he just kind of. But the funniest thing is when Krogan just poison jabs him.
Yeah, I thought that was very appropriate and a good choice by Krogan and the animators and writers. Like, let's.
Yeah, and then like
stab him.
Don was saying something. Don is one of the other characters. Was like, it's so pretty, and he goes, not as pretty as Alice. And Ash goes like, you're quick. Because he's just so used to being jabbed, he just pops right back up again.
Yep.
So that was, I think.
I thought that was a funny moment and very deserving of the Brock character being poison jabbed. Like, he had that coming.
What are some other thoughts you had?
I'm so tired of Team Rocket. So like the same thing of like, man, I remember
Team Rocket's Boston.
I remember how cool, like the episode where Coughing and Ekans finally evolve because James and Jesse like cry over their shoulders or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is, they're getting stronger. This is going to be a whole new thing now. And then nothing changed. Like no matter who they add to their team, like they're still not really a challenge for them, but they're just bumbling along through everything.
They're stalkers. Think about it, honestly.
Exactly. That is exactly what they are.
Out of the entire world of Pokemon, they're going for one person.
Pikachu. They just want Pikachu.
One Pikachu and just like, can you move on? There's plenty of other Pikachus.
Well, and like you clearly can't. Like this is beyond your skill level. And I know like through some of the show's series and different things like they've had on like other Team Rockets. But just in my mind, I'm like Jesse and James are like let's change those characters out. Like why are they still like why would you not come up with new comedic relief? If that's all that they're going to be, let's get some new characters because the same old jokes are like they're old, and they're tired and. Even kids like aren't super into that stuff.
Right.
Like, they need an update to the comedic relief or whatever. And I also think like you could do something to where it's like you could do a Team Rocket type team that's following the main characters around.
Yeah.
That actually is more of a challenge and presents like more than just a minor nuisance.
Yeah, kind of like Team Aqua and Team Magma was in the, I forgot what the series it was. It was the Hoenn region, whatever.
Yeah.
They were they went pretty at it with the challenging because they got stuck on ships. They actually even managed to obtain both of them, Kyogre and Groudon.
Yeah.
And that's just like, what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. So I think that kids, even though it's like a kid's show and they're trying to kind of age it with, the younger kids, I understand that. I think kids understand a sense of peril, and like you understand pretty quickly as a kid, like, oh, Jesse and James showed up. They're not really going to do anything. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a minor inconvenience, and then the story's going to go like, okay, whatever. Like there's no sense of like, oh, the bad guys have showed up. Mm-hmm. This is like a tense moment or a scary moment. Like that needs an update along with like, the Brock character. Like let's find some different jokes and some things in there. So those are some of my earlier thoughts. I thought this was funny. So Ash, or they're talking about like the towers at one point,
Space and time.
Like, and I think it was Brock or somebody says like, oh, these towers represent space and time. This one's space and this one's time. Mm-hmm. And I think it was Ash that said, I could have told you that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I watched it twice. I paused it on this scene to try to get a look at the towers. Cause I was like, what do you mean you could have, like, the towers are identical.
Exactly.
How could you tell that one is space and one is time? Or like which one is which? They're the same. They're the exact same tower. What do you mean you could have told? No, you couldn't.
No.
They're the same tower.
Just different colors.
This is ridiculous. Like, what are you talking? Oh, yeah, they're different colors. So does, blue mean time? Like, I would not have told you like, oh, when I see the color blue, I think about time and it's timelessness. And when I see the color purple or whatever, I think about the great expanse of space. Like, no, like they're just colors for towers. This is ridiculous. So I remember, I thought that was super funny to me. Just like, no, you couldn't have told anybody that. Ash, one, you're not very smart. Like that's established. Like you're not the smart character, and that's okay. You are who you are, and you fill your role. But you weren't going to tell anybody that. Oh, that's the space tower, and that's the time tower. Yeah. Clearly, like
I remember in I forgot what picture it was, but it talks about like Ash and Serena, and talking about like he was like, "What's my personality?" She's like, "Clueless."
It's appropriate.
It's like it's not wrong. Yeah, and then how about when Ash was walking up the stairs of the tower because he decided to run, walks all the way up and goes, "Finally!" That was pretty like. Wow.
Well, you can see how tall the tower is, Ash. It's not going to be a short walk.
No. And then it's
this kid.
And what I kind of noticed after watching it too is after he's running, after he says that, you can see the hot air balloon right there in the bottom of the screen where he's running. So you're like, yeah, he just passed it. So that was why, because when I watched it when I was younger, it didn't make sense. I'm like, where'd they get the hot air balloon? Did they pull it out of their backpack or something?
They just blew it up.
It's like, just here's on my backpack. But no, it was right there. And I kind of saw that. I'm like, that was a good touch.
It's like a Dragon Ball Z Capsule Corp situation where they just boop.
Yeah.
Pops out. No.
Yeah,
I mean, Ash, he saves all of his brain cells and brain power for when he's battling because he does come with some pretty clever strategies mid-battle sometimes, but he just deactivates it for the rest of it. Like, what do I need a brain for right now? I'm not battling.
And what about, like, okay, you cannot have a movie without someone dying. I know it's Pokemon. Even Ash. Yeah. Out of how many movies are there has Ash either died or gotten pretty close to it?
I think it's most of them.
Almost every single one.
Yeah. Like he's got to have some big sacrifice
like
move.
First movie.
Yep.
And then there's I Choose You. That one, I think it's I Choose You. Maybe another one.
Did he almost die in that one?
No, it was one of the X, Y, and Z movies. He literally died. It wasn't he was frozen. It's
He died.
He died. I don't know. Let us know in the comments. I'll find this movie because I want us to watch it.
All right.
Okay.
We got a lot of Pokemon movies to get through.
We got a lot. So basically, I don't really want to spoil it.
Well, I mean, it's been out for several years, so.
Okay, that's true. So basically what happens is there's some evil Pokemon. I haven't seen it, so I'm kind of just summing up the clip I saw.
Okay.
So Ash is trying to save Pikachu,
As he
covers him,
does.
throws him in his Pokeball, and then all you see is when Pikachu pops out, Ash's hat flies on his head. He looks at Ash, and it's just like dust particles.
Dusted.
Pretty much. He got Thanos by Pokemon.
Thanos showed up, and he's like, there are too many Pokemon.
Well, there's too many Ashes.
Too many ashes.
There's one there. It's gone.
That was Thanos' real plan. He's like, I'm going to wipe out half of all existence so that I can get rid of Ash. That's really what it came down
That's
to.
what it came down to.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I'll have to check that one out. Figure out which one that is.
I'll look at it today since I got time after the recording and see if we can find it.
Cool.
We'll plan that. I think it's Netflix.
Probably. There's some on there.
I'll find that out and we'll kind of go from there. So what'd you think of Darkrai? Did you like him?
I actually thought Darkrai was really cool. I'm a big Ghost Pokemon fan.
So am I.
And so for there to be like a legendary mythical, like a next tier, like Ghost Pokemon.
We established that last episode, huh? The
That I'm
Ghost
a Ghost-
Pokemon.
yes.
Because freaking Gengar.
And Aegislash.
Watch the next episode.
I think Ghost Pokemon are super cool.
Yeah.
I like the designs. I like the concept. And so Darkrai, like being a more top tier like Ghost Pokemon, I was like, oh, this is cool. And so after watching it, I went and tried to like Google like how I get Darkrai into because I have Pokemon Sword.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this would be a cool one to have. How do I get it in game? And everything I found online was like, oh, you have to get it from like this event or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed about that.
Yeah, I know. They say that in Brilliant Diamond that you couldn't, the new Brilliant Diamond.
Mm.
I think you still can.
Yeah.
I think it's not necessarily an event. Because I found a way to get it. I haven't got it yet.
But you found a way.
Yeah, I've looked at video and there's a way to get it.
Okay. We'll have to check that out again. See, because I think it's super cool. And I think the design's great. I always like that they, in a lot of these Pokemon movies, that some of the more main Pokemon characters, like they give them voices so that they can communicate. And so, because I understand one of my big things that I really liked about Digimon over Pokemon was like all of the Digimon talk. So you know what they're all thinking. So you don't have to guess like, oh, what's Pikachu trying to say right now? And so I like that they give voices to some of the more
Yeah,
main...
a lot of the mythical can. And some legendary can, but there's a lot of mythical that are able to talk.
And I think that's great because it gives you more insight into like what they're thinking and what's going on. Because there was so much nuance to the Darkrai character and what was going on.
Well, the movie's named Darkrai.
Right. But I think that there was a lot of nuance to the character that was helped to help you understand it by Darkrai getting to talk at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And communicate some of those things. So I was a big fan. I thought Darkrai is a cool Pokemon. Him being at the center of that that big battle between Palkia and Dialga.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was cool. I thought he fit really well. It didn't seem like super ridiculous. Like, oh, this is a Pokemon like trying to intervene in a situation where it really has got no, like clearly outclassed, but like it's up there.
Yeah, and I like it. His move, Dark Void.
Yeah,
that move's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot more technical to it, but it's just like, but Darkrai is probably one of my favorite mythicals. One of my favorite, not my favorite.
Yeah.
What is my favorite?
Well, I mean, based off the mythical list you just gave to me, like, Darkrai next to like Shaman and
no, I don't like Shaman.
Manaphy or whatever some of the other ones are.
Latios.
Not a fan. Looks super lame. It's like the worst. Okay, not the worst dragon design because there's still that like bubble like the slime dragon thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a goopy.
I just like it partly because of the movie, but it's one of my favorite mythicals.
Okay.
So that's why I like
I'll let you have that. That's totally fine. You can like him.
The design maybe. I just like we got to do a podcast on that movie because Ash's first kiss It's from a Pokemon.
It's from a Pokemon?
I'm dead serious.
That's weird.
It is.
Super weird.
You got to see the movie.
All right. Dang it. I didn't want to watch it.
It doesn't matter. That's part of it. I'm going to make you suffer.
Whatever.
I won't suffer because I love the movie.
I'll do it for the content.
You'll do it for the content.
For the content.
Yeah, so I love Darkrai too. It is one of my favorite mysticals. I love seeing some of the designs of it too. Like people doing like fan made art, like say they want to do like a knight, or I've seen a video of a guy making a knight off the Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
the Darkrai looked awesome.
Yeah,
it's like a Dark Knight, not Batman Dark Knight. I knew you were thinking like, no, not that Dark Knight.
Copyright. He's his own Dark Knight.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing all that. So I really liked it, and I have a few ideas for design just for fun to do of a Darkrai human form.
Yeah.
So I've seen.
I think it's cool design. Like it's just a cool looking Pokemon that they designed it really well. I think I like the look. Yeah, it was a good movie that I enjoyed a lot. The music that goes with like Pokemon movies, I think is always pretty cheesy, which is it is what it is. Like I'm not mad about it, But I wrote this down. We can change the world if we try. Darkrai. I think that's the song that is going on in the background. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. The music is. It's not great.
I gotta show you the Pokemon movie 2000, right?
Yeah.
They have the TV special on YouTube when it came out.
Oh yeah.
They did a TV special. You can tell it is like 2000s. Like that's how bad it is. Like it's 2000s.
Yeah.
Again, I was born in 2000, but still, I'm thinking like,
wow. Things have gotten a lot better since then.
Yeah, and some of the people that were singing in it too, it's just like, huh? I was okay back then.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, but I'll do that another episode. Yeah. So what about the song Aracion? What'd you think of that? Thoughts on that song?
It gave me very Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like very similar vibes, and I thought it was cool. Like it makes sense. There's only one of two ways to really like defeat superpowered deity Pokemon that are threatening to destroy like time and reality. One is you got to sing them a song.
Pokemon 2000.
So I don't understand why like Jigglypuff isn't in everybody's like main lineup, because if someone's gonna sing, it should be Jigglypuff.
That's
sorry. I can't not. It's so good. Such a good singing voice, Jigglypuff. Or Pikachu's got to like zap something with a Thunderbolt,
Oh yeah.
Because those are the only two ways to like win and survive a Pokemon movie. It's like you got to sing a song to the big bad Pokemon, or Pikachu's got to zap something.
Yeah.
Ash, the Tower of Time and Space, Stone Ash, Sleeping Ash, that's what it is. Those are the only two ways to like beat superpower Pokemon. You know what I mean? So I thought this song was good. It's not, painful or anything.
For me, it is one of my top Pokemon songs out of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're a big fan of the song.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I really like it.
Seriously, I'm going to say this because I want people to roast me for it. That song I have on my music sleeping playlist.
Really?
I have it playing for when I'm asleep.
Wow.
It is in that playlist. I even have a Pokemon one.
Goodness.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. But
it's all right.
We both are. I think we both are in a way.
Oh, definitely.
Because we're both doing a Pokemon podcast.
We are, and I'm right there with you. I just, I'm not that big of a fan of the song. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. I saw this is a completely another tangent. We do a lot of tangents on off topics.
That's okay.
But that's okay. I saw a video, I think it was TikTok. They say if you know this sound, you'll know what it means. It's the Power Rangers Green Ranger whistle, like flute. just listen to this. You'll know what it is. And it goes, I'm like, what? I forgot how the video went, but just hearing that in like a really loud whistle.
Back to your childhood.
It's like, and I saw a recent video too. It's like, if you know 6 of these, you are old now.
Mm-hmm.
Chalk Zone, Rocket Power, Ella Enchanted, Princess Diaries. There's many other ones they said.
Princess Diaries is kind of an old movie. I think it was kind of an old movie when I was a kid.
Yeah. There was a few other, he said, and then at the end of it, he was like, now you can suffer with me. I'm like, he also listened to some songs that are like,
You're a monster.
I'm like, I am old.
I'm not old. You are. You feel old.
And at the end, he's like, you're welcome.
Oh, man.
I've seen that. So, but
those are funny though. Like, there's some of those videos that will like they'll show some of those things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that show or that song or whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I am transported back to my childhood. And I'm like, it's Saturday morning and cartoons are coming on. Like, woo,
yeah.
Yay.
And like I'm seeing some of these videos of like stuff that like, if you're seeing this came out like. This is how fast time flows, and just like videos that came out like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I remember these from yesterday.
Yeah,
and
they were
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing what happened 10 years ago.
Yeah,
like
it's like what was it? 16? Yeah, 16 came out 10 years ago. I think it was 16, 10 or 15. Around 10 years ago, it came out.
16.
It's that cartoon that came out about being again another tangent. That show fantasized how great it was to turn 16. I've talked to some friends who are a little bit older than I am. They're like, here I think being 16 is great because these guys taught me it was supposed to be this amazing life. And it wasn't. I said, no, 16 sucked.
It was 16. Like, nothing changed from being 15 or 14. Like,
but 16 was supposed to be a great time of your life.
I'll have to check that show out. I never
We'll
watched
do a podcast
16.
on it soon, hopefully.
All right, cool.
Because it's interesting.
16 candles. Did you watch that?
No.
No, me neither. I just know that song.
But yeah, and so just like all the stuff, like I'm old now. I'm getting to that point. It's like,
yeah. And
like when I'm thinking of stuff, I'm like my sisters, Michaela, my youngest sister, I'm 7 years older than her.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the stuff she remembers, I'm like, okay, so I saw a picture of my grandpa. It was his birthday today. He's now deceased, but it was his birthday. See a picture. It was 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And how young the middle sister looks. I'm like, that wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, I don't know how many years ago it was. And a bunch of other stuff. I'm just like, I remember when I graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, it's probably different for you because you're older than I am. But for me, that was what? 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Almost 5 years ago? Something like that? So
it was longer than that for me.
Well,
not much longer, but it was longer. We're close. We're close in age, right?
10 years apart.
10 years apart. I graduated in 2009.
Yeah, I graduated in 2018.
Yeah, nice.
I was 9 years old.
That's so it's funny you say that about your sister because I got a family on we have a family chat on WhatsApp,
right?
And somebody just got hit with a Facebook reminder from however many years ago. It's my niece. No, she's the oldest niece, so this is the oldest grandkid on my side. And it's, me holding her and she's like a little baby. Right. She's so small. And now, she's 11 or whatever. And so this is a picture from 10 years ago or something. And I was like, oh my gosh. I remember so vividly and it feels so recent that she was just this big, like a toddler.
Right.
And now she's she paints and does all these art. She's got, going to school and doing all these different things like riding horses and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels so recent to me. Yeah. It doesn't feel like 10 years has gone by.
Yeah. And I'm a competitive bowler. So I've been doing bowling competitively for the past 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. When I think about it, I'm like, I've only been on a few years,
Yeah.
and I tell people, I'm like, no, I've been doing it over a decade.
Yeah. It's weird to think
It's
about
like,
that.
I've been doing it over a decade now of bowling.
Yep.
That's a long time to be doing that.
That is a long time.
So it's just like
10 years is a long time to do anything, any kind of consistently. Like, oof.
So
10 years is a lot of time.
Okay, tangent, but yeah, we're getting.
We're talking about time and space, so it's time.
Oh yeah, so it kind of
relative.
So I didn't put this in my notes, but I'm gonna ask you: Baron Alberto or Licky Licky?
So with Baron, I actually made a note about him because I was like, is this Adam West? Because I was like, man, he sounds.
Is it?
I don't think it is because he doesn't 100% sound like Adam West. But I was like, man, this guy sure sounds a lot like Adam. Someone was channeling Adam West when they were doing this voiceover.
Hang on a second.
But he definitely stood out to me a lot. And I was like, this guy's ridiculous.
Let me see. Hang on. Nope, it's not. It's someone called Axe Norman.
Shout out to Axe Norman. I know that you were watching a lot of Adam West when you did the Baron von Adam West voice.
Yeah, I guess.
Something like that. That's all I could think about whenever he came on screen. I was like, oh my gosh, this is... If Adam West was in a Pokemon movie, this is who he'd be and this is what he'd sound like.
Yeah, especially the funny thing when he's like trying to attack Darkrai, he's like, wait a minute. I'm a Pokemon. I'll choose my own moves.
Yeah. I thought that was cool. I like the idea of people turning into Pokemon. When I was a kid, I used to dream about turning into Pokemon. I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so cool if I could turn into Primate or whatever. Like, and I could be a boxing monkey guy. Like,
yeah,
that's super cool. So I thought it was great. I wish they would have picked something other than Licky Licky because that's not.
I think the reason they did that is because he was so confident and cocky about how good he looks and how he's this great guy.
Yeah.
So doing a Pokemon like Licky Licky.
So to that point, if you are a guy who is a Baron and you pride yourself on being this super handsome looking guy and you're a Baron, why would you not pick a more attractive Pokemon to be your main than Licky Licky? Like,
I just realized.
I understand.
When Darkrai put him in a dream,
Mm-hmm.
that was Licky Licky's nightmare.
Oh.
I just realized that. Because remember, he did nightmares.
Yes. It was not good dreams. It was bad
So,
ones.
Licky Licky's
Nightmare
is to be Baron Alberto.
Whoa. That's a trip.
I just realized that. How did I not write that down?
We're just making all kinds of serious discoveries right now.
That you'll hear first on Hazard Animations podcast.
Some of the information you hear from us is good and relevant. Most of it is not.
No, you can tell by the disclaimer. We say a lot.
But I did, I thought, it's another character that oh man, this is a cringy Baron dude who thinks he knows best. Whatever.
Yeah.
I did. So there's Alice, right? And then there's Tonio.
Yeah.
That's his name. This brought me to an interesting realization as I was watching through it. Because at first I saw her eyes, because they're standing next to each other at one point. And
I was going to write this down. I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
I think.
So they're clearly a love interest. And at one point they had them right next to each other. And Alice has got these big, colorful, detailed, well-drawn, and animated eyes.
Right.
Antonio has black dots. No effort has been made whatsoever to draw him having eye. And it's not even like Brock where it's this is clearly a choice where we're trying to give him a certain look. They've just given him 2 black dots for eyes. And I was like, how are they going to do this guy like this? But then as I watched it, I think most of the female characters have big, detailed, colorful, dramatic eyes.
Right.
And most of the guys have black dots.
Yes.
With the exception of Ash, he at least has some white and some black. It's not just a black dot. There's
Yeah.
some white to his eyes. So I don't know if this is a
That was completely different from
statement.
what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. What were you going to say?
Okay, so you know the picture of Alice's grandmother,
Yeah.
right? I think Tonio said the guy whose diary was his grandfather?
Yeah, it's his great-grandfather.
Right.
Yeah.
So the way the pictures are of the great-grandfather of Tonio and Alice's grandma, wouldn't that make them cousins? You see what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Because, okay,
I'll have to go back and rewatch.
I forgot to put I had a whole thing because
Oh.
the picture was of the uncle or his
Great-grandpa.
great-grandpa
Yep.
with Alice
Yep.
or whatever. And then it was,
Great-grandpa was grown, though. He was an adult.
yes. So would that be,
Niece?
yeah. Because see how identical they
know.
and then even look at this. I need to write this down.
Conspiracy.
When you look at how they were younger between Alice and Tonio,
Mm-hmm.
they look like the
Uh-oh, it's happening.
I don't know who that is. I would answer it. What we talked about in Jared was there's a phone call. We're going to say you're on the air. Don't say anything incriminating. I don't know this number though.
It's not family or somebody you know. Dang it.
I don't know. I really want to though, just see what they'll say.
That's too late. It's past. Time is gone.
I'm not that nice.
You know, maybe they are cousins, second cousins at least, or
Yeah.
something. There's,
But you see what I'm saying?
There could
Because
be something
when
there.
they're younger, when you see the flashback when they're younger, they look the same in a way
yeah,
as like Alice would and
Tonio would.
Tony. So like, and I think he had a picture of his family or what.
They do come from a small town. I don't know.
Maybe it's not from Alabama, but it might be pretty
Maybe
similar.
it's not, but maybe it is. I'll have to rewatch it again.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see. There's some questionableness there.
Yeah. I forgot to
Very
write that down. I was like,
questionable.
are they cousins?
Very suspicious. Very suspicious.
Yes. Any other thoughts you had?
The one, I had two more thoughts.
Okay.
One is worth discussing. The other is a little bit insignificant. I'll do the insignificant one first.
Okay.
Is it?
I've heard enough.
Is it Infernape or is it Infern Ape?
What?
Infernape or Infern Ape?
How is this relevant?
It's not, and that's what I said. But I couldn't help but think about it because one of the characters, and I don't remember who, but one of them clearly says Infernape, but I've always said Infernape.
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 Yeah, I think that's.
Infern. Ape.
Yes, I think so.
Infernape. Infernape.
You're hurting my brain.
I couldn't stop thinking about it because she clearly pronounced it an odd way, but I don't remember which character it was now. But my other note that I made was, so is it canon that Dialga is stronger than Palkia? Because clearly Dialga wounds Palkia early on in their meeting, leading Palkia to running and fleeing. So with most of these legendaries where, like, I remember between Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, even though Zapdos clearly has a type advantage over both of the other ones, it was a three-way stalemate until Lugia shows up. So most of the time when you have two legendaries or whatever, there is a balancing of power. Like, they're both relatively equivalent. But in this case, Dialga lands a devastating blow early on.
Yeah.
And puts Palkia on the ropes for like the entire movie. Like Palkia is barely like hanging on. So is Dialga definitely stronger than Palkia?
Maybe. I see what you're saying. Now, the only thing I'm kind of thought of this is I think it was Tonio who was saying like there's the different dimensions. So at the beginning, I think what happened was Dialga was in his dimension, Palkia was in its dimension. I don't know. So then Dialga might have come into Palkia's dimension and then surprise attack, and that might have what caused.
So Dialga walked into Palkia's house through the front door, smacked him in the face, and was like, "This is my house. Get out."
Yes.
So Dialga's stronger.
Maybe.
Palkia had home turf advantage.
That is true.
Still.
Yeah, Dialga might be stronger. I'm not sure.
I could have told you that. No, you couldn't have. Time beats space, obviously.
Yes.
Albert Einstein knew that. That's why E equals MC squared.
No.
Because the doctrinal quadrilaterals of the Unitarian combustibles is diametric to the port noise. I don't know. I was going somewhere.
Do you know where you were going?
No, I was just saying words.
Okay.
But I think I'm onto something here. I think it is canon that Dialga is stronger.
It might be.
Even if he got, which I don't think you can make the claim that he got a lucky surprise attack. It's not like Palkia was sleeping on his Palkia bed and Dialga walks in, hits him while he's sleeping. Like they were both toe to toe. They blasted each other. Dialga broke Palkia's shoulder.
Yeah.
Shoulder gem. Space stone. I don't know.
The time.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Time stone.
No, it would be a space stone.
Oh,
because Palkia is the space one.
Right.
Dialga is the time.
Yeah.
Because he's blue, and Palkia is purplish pink.
But
And that's how you know.
Significant.
That is significant because that's how you can tell the towers apart.
That's how Ash can tell
The
apart.
blue tower is time because obviously blue is time, and pink purple is space.
Quit hurting my brain.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm still struggling with Infernape or Infernape.
The bottom line is it's Infernape, and Dialga is the stronger of the two. And they need a third to come in and settle the squabble because Dialga is beating the crap out of Palkia.
Yeah, Darkrai.
Darkrai is not,
He didn't do anything.
Isn't Rayquaza the one? Or no, Rayquaza is with Kyogre and Groudon, right?
Okay, hang on a second.
What?
Are you saying the names wrong to irritate me?
Kyogre and Groudon?
Yes, you are.
Well, now I am.
Kyogre and Groudon.
Kyogre and Groudon.
I have things to throw now.
Grookey and Fraulein.
You're fired.
But Rayquaza's with them, right?
Yeah.
So there was not a third legendary, like a Lugia.
Yeah, it's kind of with Rayquaza.
Rayquaza. Rayquaza.
It's not technically. It's on the branch, but it's a space Pokemon.
Rayquaza is a space Pokemon?
It's from space, yeah.
I don't know.
And Deoxys is.
But I think Palkia is like the deity of space, though. So I don't know. Maybe Rayquaza is like the herald of Palkia.
Palkia is the space dimension.
Palkia is space.
Yes. Now, when I mean like space, I'm not meaning like the dimensional plane.
The non-dimensional space.
Yeah, so like outside of the world. Like that's where
he's in the undimension. The nth dimension?
You're hurting me. Like I'm literally getting hurt here. My brain is hurting.
I'm not trying to hurt your brain. All I'm saying is Dialga is stronger.
Okay, that's fine.
But you're wearing blue, so I feel like...
Quit hurting me. I'm getting hurt here. I'm going to have a migraine.
Those are all of my notes. That was all I thought. I enjoyed it. I liked it. And it opened up my kid to Pokemon movies, which I'm super stoked about because
You're welcome.
I'm a big Pokemon fan, and I'm very excited to get to watch all of the Pokemon movies with him and to get to experience that with him again.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about it. And I enjoyed this movie a lot.
Rating from 9 out of 10.
Oh, I'd give it a solid 8.
Solid 8?
Not the best Pokemon movie I've seen, but it's definitely up there. It was good.
I would probably give it about a 6 for me.
A 6? All right.
That's roughly.
How dare you? How could you do that to Darkrai?
I have other movies that I would put on higher on the list.
Fair enough. There's a lot of them, so I mean, competition is steep.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu is up there for me.
No. No. I refuse to watch it.
I like Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. Okay. Final thoughts.
That's my final thought. I thought it was a good movie. I'd recommend it for sure.
Recommend it, yeah. When
Definitely.
did this movie come out? Hang on. I have the case here. This movie came out in 2008.
2008. So hurry to the movie theaters near you to go check it out in the past.
Yeah, if you want to get tickets, type in the Hazard PayPal. Don't worry, you'll get unlimited tickets
We will
for
send you-
$19.95.
We will send you a ticket to go see.
Don't do that. That's bad advertising.
We'll send you a copy.
Yeah, picture.
A picture of a copy.
Yeah, great. Okay, so
If you send us $50, we'll watch the movie with you. I'd do that for $50.
so would I actually. That's a good idea. Okay, anyway, so shout outs again. Haven't done any questions. No one's really submitted questions. If you guys have questions to submit, put them through the Discord or email us at hazard4fans2@gmail.com. And that stuff. Also, we got, if you want to check out our store, we have a merch store. We have Twitch. We're going to start streaming on soon. Getting my stream team together. Podcasts like we're on right now. We have the Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast you can listen to. Need to start uploading them to YouTube also, which I got to go to edit that.
Yep.
And put them onto YouTube because that's another thing we just got to make sure. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I don't think anyone uses Facebook hardly anymore anyway.
My mom does.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom.
Hi. Okay. And then one big announcement
Big one.
is Jared's fired.
No.
No, I'm kidding. Jared's not fired
Surprise.
yet.
He's hired again.
Yet. No, SAC Anime. It's the summer. It's called Summer, which comes in September. So
Both
September
start with
is...
S.
Huh?
They both start with S.
Yes, but it's the system they have is weird. So September 2nd through the 4th is the SAC Anime Con in Sacramento, California. Members of my team and myself will be there. We decided against getting a booth, but we will be there. If you guys want to come up and meet us, join the Discord. We'll give more information when we have it. We'll be doing trivia, giving away stuff. You can take pictures with us. You can have talk to us about questions you have or stuff like that. We will be there. I don't believe Jared will, though.
I've got kids. I can't.
It's a very fair answer.
Not this time. I do want to go, so I do. I'd like to go to the next one.
So that winner then would be...
Well, the next time you go, let me know.
That'd be
and
the
I'll
January.
try.
That'd be the January.
I'll try. I want to go.
So we'll figure...
I've never been to like an anime, like any kind of con, and I've wanted to for a long time. So
yeah, but we'll get you. But yeah, we'll be there at the SAC Anime in September. I got days off and stuff, so we'll do that. Things to say. Finally, content.
that's it. That's all I got. I'm out. I did all my notes.
Did all your notes. So, do you want me just to pick out? I have a few ideas for the next episode. Do you want me just to say one so it's there, or do you want me just to?
Yeah, say it. Throw it out. We'll do it.
Okay, so next week.
It's a surprise to even Josh.
No, I'm pausing for effect.
Pausing for effect.
It's going to be the show Chaotic.
Chaotic. Oh, yeah. Yes, I know what it is.
There we go.
Ah, okay. I've been looking for an excuse to watch this show for so long.
It's on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there. Chaotic.
Okay, so we need to figure out, we're going to talk about this after recording, figure out how much we're going to watch. And there's 3 seasons,
Is it really?
and it's all on YouTube.
All right. Cool.
So we will talk about that. So yeah, the next episode.
Next episode.
It's recorded weekly, but it's posted.
Bi-weekly.
You guys figured it out right now.
Chaotic.
We'll talk about Chaotic, yeah. And then eventually, like I was telling Jared, no one knows about this yet. I'm adding some new twists to the podcast to keep Jared on edge.
New twists.
So that'll be
Surprising.
technically, yes. Okay. So yeah. Well, Jared, again, thanks for hanging out and talking about.
Thanks for having me. It's always a good time.
Yeah, this is fun. We do it every week. Just about until someone got sickly.
You.
That was you.
You did too.
No, I didn't.
You did. You skipped 1 week because you were sick, and then we met, and then I skipped a week because I was sick. We've both missed 1 week because one of us was sick. Sickness gets everyone eventually. Hey, come on, get down with the sickness. Come on, get down with the sickness. Come on, get down with the sickness. Madness has now come over me.
Anyway, okay, that's all we got time for today. So thank you all for tuning in, and remember, it's okay to be hazardous. Just don't get caught doing it.
Don't want to be the very best at podcasting that ever was.
You better add that.
Maybe.
If you don't.